This is a video about yet another example of desperation in politics. If anybody doesn't remember Nixon and the Watergate plumbers, let's talk about something modern day. James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. Project Veritas is absolutely infamous for doing dead-ass, almost onion-level parody-style looking videos where they do things that are not just outrageous, but immediately are designed to make sure you don't believe them. This way it filters out anybody who's going to question what they're told or what they'll just repost. Project Veritas is the organization that did the pimp hat and hooker outfit video where they falsified everything they could about the video to make sure that rational, normal people would look at it and say, you falsified a video, which is exactly what they wanted people to say first. That's it. They don't present evidence that will cause any kind of forward movement for your group. And they are what you implement when you desperately need something viral that'll post everywhere for political reasons. And it's never, under any conditions. I don't think that James O'Keefe of Project Veritas has ever, under any conditions, told the truth to anybody in public. On purpose, anyway. Or by accident. I don't know if he's even capable of telling you the time of day correctly without his tongue bursting into flames. He is claiming the Office of Inspector General has contacted him because of a video he's posted. What is in this video? It's a person claiming that the Michigan mail-in ballots were defrauded. And it's claiming this based on someone who's claiming to be a U.S. Postal Service worker and whistleblower, which we can't confirm because it's an anonymous source being interviewed by him in a video. Now, again, I'm going to repeat this. Project Veritas has confirmedly made videos that were fraudulent over and over again. If it's politically based, they always do fraud. I think he had a history a long time ago of just doing some other damn thing. If you see James O'Keefe or Project Veritas on anything, it's never true. And if you want to believe desperately, play back the X-Files theme, that he's telling the truth, that's a sign of desperation. And if you repost his videos, you want to have everyone assume that you are incapable of finding evidence. The last person on earth you would go to try to prove something factual is this guy. You could walk up and dead-ass show somebody a gold bar. Okay, they might believe you. You could even test it. You hand it to James O'Keefe, no one will assume it's gold anymore. No one rational. That's how bad his past is. But let's assume for a second, no we shouldn't, but let's try to assume he's telling the truth. Let's decode this. An anonymous, supposedly, Travis City postal worker made a claim in the video. He claimed that the post office has known political leanings and left it at that. He didn't explain what he was talking about. Well, I don't want to say. Why not? You're telling everybody something terrible is happening, but you won't tell us which political bent you think the post office as an entity has. Now, why would someone say that? First of all, they could just say, yeah, the post office is extremely leaning towards the Democratic Party. Then the next thing you'll ask is, because you're specifying, what is the Democratic Party doing for them, and what do they do in return? It's one hand washes the other. If you say it's the Republican Party, it's the same question. But if you don't specify the party, for some reason people ask you, what the fuck do they have to gain? Here we go. He claimed that on November 4th, the Barlow Branch Office District Supervisor named Jonathan, and it's supposed to be Jonathan Clark, but he didn't mention the guy's last name, so we don't know that, ordered him to backdate any late mail-in ballots that would presumably not be allowed to the previous day on the 3rd. Separate them from standard letter mail so they can be hand-stamped with November 3rd, yesterday's date, and put them through. And then he said in the video, which was heavily edited, this whistleblower is being edited. We're not hearing the unedited video. Anytime Project Veritas edits something, it's not for clarity, and it's not for time. It's to prevent you from finding out a fact. Something slipped through. Well, this is a scaling issue. Now, what is a scaling issue? Now, I'm going to repeat this again. This is a person we can't confirm who's being claimed to be a worker at a post office. Yes, in the background, it's supposed to show him talking with the background supposedly of an election area or a post office area. But you can tell that it's edited together. This is supposed to be a worker at Traverse City Postal location who was contacted by the Barlow Branch Office District Supervisor, or Direct Supervisor, named Jonathan. No last name, but then Project Veritas guy calls Jonathan Clark. The claim was that the post office has political leanings, but he doesn't explain what they are, or even give an indication who, so somebody would ask him the obvious, what are you talking about question. Why was that thrown in? And he was ordered on the 4th to backdate everything to the 3rd if the mail-in ballots were late. Separate them from standard letter mail so they can be hand stamped and put through. And that he mentioned this is a scaling issue. Now, why would Project Veritas edit the living shit out of this? I mean, he could have said a completely different thing, by the way. But why would Project Veritas, aka James O'Keefe, he's just a one-man band, really, allow through the word scaling issue? A scaling issue, or economy of scale issue, is when you're running a large organization based on a specific set of parameters that work, that do or do not scale. Let me explain that a little bit better. Let's say you're running a really small delivery business in your town, and you want to go big. Do you just keep using the same car, or do you come up with a more organized plan for doing things? The U.S. Postal Service is designed on the basis of scaling things to a nation. And he was addressing a scaling issue by changing the time and date stamp on a letter, not a ballot. Mail-in ballots are mailed in the U.S. Postal Service as an envelope. You can't see a ballot in it. It's an envelope, and it has a time and date stamp on it, or like everybody gets on the thing that says the date it was come through. And they base the mail-in ballot date by the last date or the last minute or hour they're allowed to take the ballots. If they're late, you don't backdate them, right? Okay. So where would a scaling issue happen with an organization that literally exists to deliver things as fast as possible? Oh, wait a minute. The U.S. Postal Service was told to slow down the mail because it was advantageous for a particular political party. Because the Republican Party's leader, Donald Trump, got his little flunky to do it, to slow things down and choke up the system, which means a scaling issue in this case would mean that it was delayed in being able to be processed the previous day because they don't have enough staff. If this is even a little bit true, by saying scaling issue, what we're hearing is we don't have enough people here to adequately process this stuff, and because we've been screwed over and weren't able to process these yesterday, they did come in on time. We weren't able to finish stamping them, so you will stamp them with yesterday's date because they're not going to be uncounted votes, simply because we've been deliberately understaffed to sabotage delivery of the mail. Because a lot of you noticed your mail isn't being delivered on time either, is it? Or the letters arrived on the next day on the 4th and they were backdating them. No, he's saying they were late ballots. And a bunch of stuff he said was edited out. Dear whistleblower, if you're the one who made this whistleblowing video with James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, and you don't know about what I just said, how long have you been working as a mail carrier? Really? Come on, post a video. You can scramble your voice. What was left out of the video? It's not what is said, it's more important what Project Veritas redacted. So this whistleblower gave a complete answer, and James O'Keefe let loose the word scaling issue. What this means is they had a bunch of envelopes that did show up on time, but they have to backdate them the next day because they couldn't get to them because they were overwhelmed, because every place is overwhelmed. That's what happened. Or, and this is even, bear with me a little bit. He didn't say the guy's last name, so Jonathan Clark might not have been the guy. And more importantly, we're not able to confirm that this is even a mail carrier. And this is the best Project Veritas and James O'Keefe, an organization of one, grandiose in his own mind, who literally does nothing but lie and produce propaganda. This is the best he could do. If you say scaling issue, the only scaling issue the U.S. Postal Service would have is if they weren't able to deliver things on time. That's their damn job. That's a scaling issue. Tell me another one. No, really. Down below me in the comment section, you tell me what scaling issue means instead. You tell me. Make it some conspiracy theory. Make it entertaining at least. What they were told to do probably is what I'm describing. But the other possibility is this fucking never happened. It's possible it didn't happen, but it is possible. Anyway, the Office of Inspector General is supposed to have contacted Project Veritas, but everybody knows Project Veritas never tells the truth. They have to process any complaint no matter how goofy the person is, but I don't know if you know this, but James O'Keefe and Project Veritas have actually been put on the list for almost every organization to refuse any comment from. And the official response they give is, you produce hoaxes. Or, we don't have to process your request because it's frivolous. There's variations depending on the department. A couple of them will just say if he makes a complaint or talks to them, he goes back to jail. Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, the infamous anonymous whistleblower source, making statements, editing the shit out of them, and one of the statements got through. It was a scaling issue. You can tell me what it is different, but you're not allowed to yell, you're just angry libtard. And this is his bombshell. This is yet another October surprise style thing where you dump something out without any proof. But remember Biden's son's laptop? Still haven't gotten anybody to prove it even exists, have you? If you're watching this, you know that. Because the people who have that information, the lawyers and other people, are totally legit. You know, some of them who've been charged and convicted, they're totally not going to ever let you see that hard drive. It's not the leftists doing it. It's the right-wingers who lied about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.